Yeah, because I'm here. Pacific time is still morning. Yeah.
Right.
What's your time there in Ohio?
It's noon.
Okay, so 2 hours ahead.
Right. 2 or 3. What time isn't it? 9 o'clock there?
9 here.
Yeah. So it's 3.
3 hours. Okay.
Right. Sun.
Oh. Oh, 很好，很好。我 understand. Okay, now start our class today. We are learning characters and first, and then practice some calligraphy strokes for pine tree, tree trunk, and tree leaves. Leaves we call pine needles. Actually, we learned the leaves some for other trees, but in the Chinese painting, like other category for pine needles, and you need it in landscape painting or flower and birds painting. Both you need it because pine tree is very big, and you will see in the landscape chunk is different, and the needles are different from other trees, and also in 4 seasons you will see that, and the longevity it shows in the lots of Chinese painting though. Anyway, let's do the characters first. These characters very we used a lot, probably not in painting, but not very hard, and we use it a lot when you learn like language, Chinese language. The simple meaning is no or not. No, people say no, I don't like it, or not very good. Say no, say yeah. And this case, because we see the pine tree is longevity, right? We see not old pine, which means very positive like topic for the aged pine tree. I think it because in same thing in Western, right? Like 5,000 years or 100 years pine tree really we really treasure, right? Treasure. Okay, so here standard first. Not that much strokes, but thinking about the balancing thing, it kind of hard, sometimes. Okay, of course, the top horizontal first. Do a little bit up, if you cannot control the totally horizontal. I mean, instead of drop, do a little bit up. Normally shows more balance, easier. I mean, beautiful, not like the printing one. So do a little bit up, and the slant. Yeah, look at the slant, not from the center. We want to keep the vertical, like a domain, the whole thing in center. I mean, with the top in the position of the center of top horizontal one, right? So this slant start from a little bit right, and it end a little bit wider than the top horizontal. The top horizontal, actually, I did a little bit over over too long. You do not want the occupy. See that this is not the most widest place, right? The slant is wider. Okay, and then the vertical can a little bit across, or you don't have to, you know, for the calligraphy writing, you do a little bit across to start, and then keep it in the center to do the vertical. And then the big dot to balance to the right-hand side, but less, longer, it's smaller than the shorter than the slant to the left. But need to be, you know, think of the balancing, not very small dot, but shorter than the slant. Okay, this is the standard side. Yeah, remember, keep the vertical in the center of the horizontal top one. And then to the walking style. Walking style, the first hook is do not on purposely do that. You know, it shows the movement, the dynamic from the upper previous character. Just that. Okay, just connect horizontal and the slant. And the vertical a little bit shows kind of the hook, actually, then dot. Just the most thing is you understand the structure and do it more connect. So do the horizontal connect the slant. Okay, even press. Okay, press, and then this and that. Yeah, you can do the press, not lifting. And then grass style, cursive style, a little changed to the order. Something top, and then instead of in order do this, they do it like in mind, like we do the character for small, you know, things. Do the vertical first in center things, and a little bit like a hunchback looking, because for the tendency of the dynamic things first, and then one left dot, very connected, one dot, and then ready for next characters. You know, that's the way to do. So something up like a dot, and then hunchback things, and then one left, one right. Still, you know, the basic thinking is still, you can tell, is from this, the logically correct, right? So top and the center, and one left, one right. You know, sometimes it become really running style, become that, you know, change the very obvious, change the order, center first. This easier or faster writing, practically, probably, yeah, but very common to do that, yeah. Okay, clerical style kind of actually is even earlier, right? So like two more extra things there. Okay, horizontal. Okay, conceal the tip always, 4 styles, right? And then a little bit of wave, you know, and then lift. Kind of the dot, kind of the short slant dot, but very slow lifting. It's like the triangle. And then left, kind of press, but do not do the raindrop, slow. is carving mood. And then I think you can do left slant first, or vertical first. It doesn't matter. You know, in carving, actually, you reorder, arrange like the painting things, the strokes. But you know the basic structure like that, right? Yeah, don't go too long because this style kind of a flat. And the slant kind of bounce back things. Not go that low. Oh, the end even bigger than I do, right? But the meaning there, yeah. And always like a goose tail flying horizontal, or for the press, goose tail flying is the strongest, right? Slow, slow. Do not sweeping too fast. Carving mood, not brush. Okay. That's the characters for no. And this case, I said for the phrase for the painting of the aged pine tree, of course, directly from the I mean the character by character is not old pine. What's that mean? Which means the tree actually is aged, very aged. It is old pine tree, but we appreciate and appreciate never getting old because it can be, you know, very longevity longevity plants for 1,000 years even. Okay, so this is the old the characters, like two parts from top, of course. Horizontal. I did a little bit too long, frankly. Okay, try to do larger characters. Okay, and vertical. What's the characters so far? Anybody remember it? I mentioned we didn't write it. Earth or dirt, some things. Yeah, like the something horizontal, something vertical, and this ground. You know, this is earth or ground. And then a big slant. Big slant. And then, okay, vertical connect with this, not hunchback, not diagonal balance, but vertical horizontal, like the 90-degree things. But remember, keep the vertical in center. Balance the top one. Yeah. And then hook. So this bottom things, the horizontal one, not too wider than this one. This is the longest. And then slant. Some people actually do the slant first in walking or in cursive style. Okay, that's the old things. And this is a little bit free, right? I see that the two verticals not in the like a one place, but it could put the slant very strong, and so consider the looking of the whole thing still balanced, very balanced, right? So just do the more connect by natural. It doesn't have to be that circle one, very rounded, perfect one. Okay, just do this. And connect with this vertical, slant things, and then see, I did a little bit different in center. Doesn't have to be, oh, to the right, you know, that's not the most important thing. Just show some connection. Yeah, see here, after this, see this circle very flat, doesn't matter. Yeah, or here, actually I didn't show anything circled. Just show you that depends. Do not on purpose do very solid circle there. Do not put emphasis on that. Oh, this is very but every people will recognize it. This is the cursive style for the old. Top one, you know, top one kind of, you can still tell, because this one, right? This one kind of become this, right? And then back to do some things, just like a 2 dots, very connect for the bottom things, whatever. Okay, so then it's become that, and diagonally to this side and back to the center to do 2 dots. No matter 2 dots connect, or it still shows the dynamic things for the, you know, for the connection, right? And then clerical style. These carving things, very common role to bring like one big stroke to like 2 small pieces, right? So big slant, 2 small pieces. Actually, this is first. When people think easier for writing on paper, it become like 1 bigger stroke instead of 2 times 2 pieces. Okay, carving mood. Go slower, slower. See the vertical things at the starting or at other place, looks like a not perfect one, right? But shows beauty in carving, you know. And 2 small pieces of slant. So slant, this case, press a lot, right? Actually, small here, and not connect is from here, from center and left, actually, a little bit of curve for these things, and kind of the center, you know, thinking of the whole balancing things for these vertical things. Stroke by stroke here, not a soft turn. It doesn't show any goose tail flying here. As I said, sometimes it doesn't have to, yeah. But slant is very, this style, right? And also, each stroke shows the carving mood. You use different strength to do that. Okay, now pine. I think we learned before, did we? So as review, we do that today. What's the radical? And we didn't learn the clerical styles, so that's why we review and learn something first. Slant and a small dot, not at the same place. Yeah, do a little bit lower. Okay, and the right hand side, word radical for the meaning. And right hand side, the characters, 2 dots, like the number 8, right? In Chinese character number 8, it's like that. I said like the two fingers to do, we do 8 like that. This is the number 8. Okay, and then kind of the triangle things, slant and hard folding to do the turning part, and then dot to make this triangle things. And look at the sample and notice, please, the right hand side, not to the bottom, not to the bottom, because this small, I mean, less strokes make the things balanced. 2 dots, a little bit higher than the word radical, the horizontal stroke, a little bit higher than that. And the bottom things, and about the slant, but not the bottom hook part. Okay. Actually, you want to make the right hand side, the characters kind of center, not very spacey. So you do not want some things to touch the top and to reach the bottom, but the center very spacey. You do not want that. Actually, literally the right hand side, this character is grandpa or female. I mean, sorry, male. Is gong. For the sound, this is pine, we say song, and this is a gong, and the meaning is at the left word radical, because the piece, a tree, right? The tree. Okay, that's for pine, the characters. Not hard, right? Okay, so this one, the same rule we learned for word radical, right? The slant and the dot become one stroke, just press and lift. Become press and lift. You can do hook to do that or without, like that, right? And then 2 dots and the triangle things. Cursive style and walking actually doesn't have that much differences. especially like the wood radical still like same, looks like same thing, right? The right hand side become more simple. So this, and it become just a very connected, very simple, just the one dot indicated this and connect with the, see, those two are very connected, even become, looks like the one stroke. Actually, some people do not much differences. Some people call, when you write the faster, can be walking like that, a walking style, and do faster. Some people want to do very clear, still shows like that. So not that much differences in those two and these characters. Yeah, still try to make the balance, but not to the top and not to the bottom. You know, something kind of concentrate in the not very loose. Ooh, this is sometimes I choose things just you know, there are a lot different writing for that, and I choose is something very typical or some things I like and shows beauty in this style. I think, or sometimes people think this is more elegant or more shows we say 古雅 is classical elegant, not modern. Okay, horizontal, go slow. And the vertical in center, actually a little bit to the right hand side. See that, even this carving mood. Because we know right hand side, we have some things to do, right? And so left hand side, a little bit bigger. So the vertical a little bit to the right. And of course, left things, the slant one bigger. You know, like a stick on the sand, right? Very typical, even didn't bounce back that much. Okay, and the dot much smaller than the slant, because right, we know we have some things to do, something arranged there taking place. Dot, very triangle, not raindrop. You know, try to make the two dots a little bit different. It's handmade, right? It's calligraphy. And the triangle, almost a triangle, you know, looks like the Japanese, the right ball, the sushi bar things, triangle, but we know how to make it. And these things, see, I said, even looks more higher, right? Not to the bottom. So to balance it at the level of this slant things. So then become the left and the right balanced. That's it. So kind of this, yeah, a little bit like that. And then because carving, you know, sometimes the stroke you do a little bit of back and forth pause there. Okay, and the tree things, the wood piece, vertical piece, a little bit longer, but need to be very powerful. You, by going slower, you can do that. And this thinks very classical, elegant, and you wouldn't think it's not balanced, you know, for the bottom, whole thing is hanging there. No, because tree, if the tree, sometimes the bottom, they don't have things, right? beside the just the tree trunk. I mean, yeah. Actually, I think those two dots a little bit too higher, a little bit too higher. Look at the sample. The highest is still the wood radical part. As I said, in the standard style, the two dots of the right-hand side things matched about the horizontal place, but not the top of the vertical. So need always, the structure correct and also watch the whole things of the composition. Yeah, I don't know. Each piece, can be a little bit different, and sometimes this part good and that part doesn't show ideally. Okay. Any things about the characters for today we are learning? You want to understand some things you think it not very clear, or put them together. Next time we can write, because lots of even the photographer, they do the picture for the very beautiful aged pine tree. They name their picture. I mean the photos, the 不老松, not never be old. I mean very old aged pine tree. I'm doing things kind of in the clerical and the standard. Yeah, that's for the longevity. Never be too old. Actually, aged pine tree. Okay, any questions? No question. Let's do some practicing or study for the pine tree. Okay, hand out for the pine needles first. Okay. Pine needles. And any brush, I just used my rest ink. Okay, left hand side of the page, first line, it says the fan shaped can do that, which means like the not the whole thing rounded, right? Fan shaped, only left, only the upper part for the round. Okay, left hand side up to center. I mean out center, and the right hand side center out. But yeah, it depends. Like Kathy, anything. Actually, when you know the stroke, it's up to you. Doesn't matter. But I just let you know traditionally how master said or how teacher asked you to do. And you do kind of the pause. Do not do lift. So not like we do clerical style. So you do to the center, to the center, to the center. You can do a little bit, different length. Like a carving, thinking of a stick on the sand. And you dot the center, at the end, indicated, something, from center, center. But not at the very first you did the center part. Otherwise, looks very stiff. You do the circle. You do not circle it or do anything. You do the needle first normally. Okay, and you can do mold of the single one, right? Look at the second one, the third one. Same way to do, but overlap it, and become group. Okay, so you can do very fast, right? Okay, do not mind overlap. Actually, on purpose, you overlap it, then become group. And for the single fan shape, each stroke doesn't have to be the same length, right? You try to do it very, a little bit different. Got some rhythm, to do. And it doesn't have to be exactly direction, right? Make the group prettier. Okay. Okay, second line. You do something same thing to do, but you can do like a round, include the bottom part. Same thing, and dot at the center. Overlap when you do group. Got some rhythm, not very even. And, the pine needles, it doesn't have to be do that many, not very dense. Right, when you do group, overlap it. In the real painting, sometimes you do very fast when you get used to it. Even you can add something later. You think here I want to, things more dark. I just add some, these pattern things, very useful to make that area darker. You do not want the painting area very even, right? Easy, right? Overlap it. You need to overlap it to make the beautiful group. Okay, that's the second line, since this is the round things. And the third line and the fourth line says, because we say pine tree actually include any kind of a pine, even the something we call what's called spruce or something, anything this kind of longevity things. So the third line and the fourth line we call horsetail pine. In a horsetail shape, which means long instead of a fan or a rounded thing to make the single one. And the third line is called small horse. The fourth line called bigger horsetail. Bind to the stem, the main wing things bigger or small. The third line, try long shaped, but not very, the center things not very strong. The fourth line stronger. Okay, trying to do make the line not very obvious, and you do some things like a two side, but same way. And in group overlap and to the different direction a little bit. Even the single one, the needles can be a little bit overlapped, doesn't matter. Actually, the center stem doesn't really show very clear for this third line, right? For the fourth line, sometimes not very clear, the border for the things. And so that's why it shows the one line here shows things go slow, huh? Not very fast. Make it more clear. Yeah. Okay. And then if needed, right? Sometimes you want it shows more. Then same principle to do the two-side things. So because of more needles here, so a little bit crossing, normal. You feel center out easier or out to the center easier, doesn't matter. Sometimes, people do a little bit different depending on what you know. What you feel comfortable. But the stroke, see, normally we say the not very soft, like a clerical style we do. Okay. And you can do like the right hand side of the page. You can do the one like the bigger stem and the two thinner to make the two smaller piece, right? Do not want too smooth curvy line, so not this case, okay? Very stiff, clerical style, but you do faster. It's fun. Like we do the chrysanthemum, the petal. Yeah, some things like the overlap and in group. Okay, when you try to color it, I'm not going to do the color actually. You do look at the handout. They do not repeat the needles. They just do some light blue or green or dark green, some just later after line. Just do some things, wash a little bit or dot a little bit of light color there. Mm-hmm. Next time we will do the color for the. But how are you so far for the needles? Good. Okay, show me. Yeah. I just want to make sure it's kind of the stiff, kind of stiff like the clerical style, but you can do fast. And when you get used to this kind of stroke, you can do very fast, right? Got the rhythm like to do that in group and not crossing. You want some crossing and you want the overlapping in group. And also remember, when you do the real things, you can add some on when you need some things very dense, or but for the single one, leave some space. Actually, leave some space, not that dense, to show the beauty of this needle. Okay, and then chunk. Look at the bottom one, the bigger chunk first, right? For the trunk, for the pine tree, first we do the like outer line for things. Okay, you have the not very fine brush. We do kind of, we say plowing stroke. Doesn't have to be the position of the plowing, but kind of, okay, you want to something rough, and you want the line not very smooth, and directly translation, they call it short strokes, which means not the long pulling smooth, kind of the short, do some pause things, and plowing things very hard ground, plowing and go, this kind of things appreciate, because very aged pine tree, do something like that. And the other side, same way to do. Something like that. We just we didn't think of the whole composition, just the elements, right? We are study, and this for the outer things is rough and short stroke, not a big one, right? We know the pine tree, aged pine tree, never be very smooth straight line. That's for the 1 year. 1 year, 2 years trees down straight, right? This is in the on the mountain, not smooth line there. And also the other characters, other characters for pine tree trunk is with we call dragon scale. Dragon scales there. See the circle one on the tree skin on the trunk, but not the, look at the sample, not the perfect round, kind of the oval. And when you do that, some a little bit across, a little bit even close, not close, just some curve line there to make some scale. And the other thing I have to see previously, pine tree, edged pine tree, there is some scar. Okay, you want to probably save the big scar here, and the scar part, some things like the texture there, but you want to leave, okay, when you do scar, and the scar part seems no scale, so, and also for the, you do not do scar very even. you want leave some space, shows the light, right? And the scar part, you try to leave it. Yeah. See the very right-hand side page, the very right-hand side, the last one, it is said to put these scars on one side when you need, and leave another side empty to show the light. Okay, that's a very typical one. And on other one, see the multi-tree trunks there around the scars. I mean, the big scar, right? Sometimes the broken branch there and the main trunk continue to grow, but some broken big scar there shows beauty and a little bit of texture in the center, but kind of white there, right? No scale there. So try to make the scale dense and sparse, but not even, yeah. And sometimes it depends on your picture, right? Depend on your whole picture. So now we just remember we have this concept of the scale and the not even, right? Leave some space there. Okay, let's do, what about do the third one? And later, after doing, you will realize you can start any place you think you want to save, and easier to do, you know, because even the stroke you can do up down or from bottom up. Just remember the short stroke, rough stroke, powerful and not straight. You can do a little bit towards, a little bit left, and towards a little bit right. You know, remember this. If you do very straight, not beautiful. And some line shows this, you know, to the left and to the right. Yeah, and the strokes, remember, clerical style we practice a lot, like a carving, plowing. We always use the word of that. Yeah, save the scar. Do not do the scale on that. Not straight, not smooth line. Let's do, yeah, that's the tree trunk. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, you know, always in your mind. Some things you can do, or some things better not to do. No smooth line, and where you want to save some space for the scars, or for some place you want to show more dense. It's very useful. So after a few of them, you will got the feeling, right? It's very hard for yourself to do this kind of the practice. So in the tree, just a tree trunk, but very, very useful. So let's do together in class to do this practicing thing. Yeah. Watch the whole thing, save some space for the light, not even. It's hard to, and continue to do, all just a tree, no forest, right? Very easy to get things very even. The real painting, better you do less first, and then, you know, later you can always add on when you think some places you want darker. you can add on or put color, do not do too dense at very first. How about you so far? Got some feeling of the pine tree, right? Pine tree always aged. And we do pine tree, we never do like the 2 years straight one, chew like that. We appreciate left and right, for the tree trunk and some things there. Okay, let's do the top things like tree trunk and the small branch, a small branch, or bigger, we always say bigger branch and a small branch. The characters for this is because it's aged tree, the branch not very long. Okay, remember this, not very long, very stiff and very small, very short, and can be down and up, up and down, for some folding things. Let's try to make the very right hand side one, see if we can do things. We talked about it like even for the general tree things, how to show like 4 directions, right? Tree trunk, the most things is for 4 directions, left or right, and front and the back. Save a little bit of things, and for 协议 actually doesn't matter. One thing when you do things and the roles in your mind, in your heart, and just remember not straight line. Yeah, that's important. Short line and can make it more powerful. And the plowing. Up and down, and the things for pine tree because it's old. Eventually become a single line, right? Even you saved for the double lines. See, up and down, but still very strong. And we see the powerful little branch in the pine. We call it dragon cloud. Like clouds, but very strong, like dragon clouds, like kind of the Y-shaped things for the branch, but very powerful short things. That's why I call it dragon cloud, not chicken food, huh? Actually, for the small branches for pine trees, very small, the tip one, you do not have to do very clear. Normally cover the mass of the pine needle group. Yeah, and do not do very clear scale on the small branch. Do very light ink or some colorful one on it. You can always change when you understand things. I think I got lost, and you can make your make things yourself. Right, because later actually for the small things, you can make up by add some, the pine needles there. Okay, so next class, we will do the pine tree, and we'll do a little bit like the blue color or dark green color, things like that. And also for the pine tree, one thing I have to say earlier thing is no matter branch or needles, do not make it too dense. Not too dense. Leave some things you can see. Leave some space, like you can see through. You can see through. And some scar place, you need to make a little bit hard folding, not very smooth, right? Not very smooth. Okay, anyway, any questions? If no questions, yeah, happy practicing, and continue to do the practice next time for the pine tree. I like to do the pine needle things, and in the real things, you can make it itself, the pine tree, and in the painting, landscape painting, you do things like in the real mountain, you do at least one pine trees, and some close to the house, you do a little bit other straight up small trees, and but very beautiful in the mountain, the big pine trees there, very easy to tell different, give the landscape more dignified looking things, and it's different from other trees by the trunk and by the pine needles. Okay, we just study some very basic calligraphy stroke in this elements painting, trunk, branch, and needles. Emily, any questions? Okay.
No, just wanted to thank you. That was fun.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for to the class, and continue to do. Next time we do the whole pine trees, and put the very in Chinese very good word, good title for appreciate the longevity pine trees. And last time I said 2 times before winter break, and then actually I by that time I forgot the 30. The 30 today, I thought 2 times in December, actually. So totally, actually, it's 3 times until 14 last one, 14 December. So our last class is 14 December in before winter break. And we save 1 in the January. Okay. OK， 谢谢，
谢谢，
再见。
再见。